In this video, I'll be ranking every Minecraft travel method in a tier list. From minecarts to boats, I will rank the worst and the best of the ways to travel in Minecraft all in this video. This is the prime Minecraft travel tier list. Also, if you like this video, you are giving me more views, so you have the power to help me and I'd really appreciate if you did. And now, the tier list. Just in case you don't know, the way this tier list works is that there's 5 tiers: best, good, average, faulty, and bad. And I'll be putting each Minecraft travel method in one of these tiers. And now let's rank our first travel method, swimming. So swimming is a way to travel that can only be done in water and used to be pretty annoying since it was very slow and hard to manage, especially if you were getting chased or had arrows shooting at you. But that all changed in 1.13 when Mojang added sprint swimming to Minecraft. So now swimming is not only faster but also makes you rotate your body so you're only 1 block tall. Also, not to mention that sprint swimming also has a cool little animation, so now swimming is just a whole lot more enjoyable. But is swimming a good way to travel? Well, while swimming did get better in 1.13, it is still pretty slow. In fact, even sprint swimming is just a little bit faster than regular walking, which really surprised me when I found out just how slow swimming actually was. Another big downside to swimming is the fact that you could only swim if you're in the water, which isn't exactly very convenient. Overall, swimming does have its downsides, but is still a pretty important travel method in my opinion. Swimming is an average tier. Now, saddled striders. So saddled striders are unique because you could only ride them on lava. I mean, yes, you technically can ride them on land as well, but that's so slow that it's basically useless. Now, not only can you ride striders only on lava, but they're also only found in the nether. But while they are only found in the nether, you could still bring them into the overworld through another portal. So let's say you have a saddle, you have a strider, you're near lava, and you have a warped fungus on a wooden stick. Well, then you're going to be moving across lava at some pretty decent speeds. You could even use the warped fungus to boost the strider and make it move faster. Now, it isn't the fastest thing in the world, but it is decently fun to ride these things. But the fact that it could basically only be rode on lava is pretty annoying. Overall, the saddled striders are a faulty tier. Flying. Now, I'm not talking elytra flying, although that will come later, but I'm talking about creative flying. So creative flying is a travel method that could only be used in creative mode and spectator mode, and it's much faster than walking. But surprisingly, it isn't the fastest travel method in the game. Now, flying is great. You could hover, ascend, and descend wherever and whenever you want, but it's only available in creative mode, so it's not really fair to give this too high of a ranking. So I think creative flying is an average tier. Now, ender pearls. So ender pearls are most commonly found by killing endermen and are a very important item in Minecraft since you need them to make eyes of ender to get to the end. But are ender pearls a good transportation method though? Well, ender pearls can be thrown and wherever they land, you'll teleport there. So off the bat, you could definitely see this as a very unique way to travel. But one big issue is that you take 3.5 hearts of damage every time you teleport, so constantly spamming these things can end up killing you pretty quickly. Now, that damage can be reduced with armor enchantments such as feather falling and protection, but it's pretty inconvenient to need enchanted armor every time you just want to ender pearl somewhere. And ender pearls are also somewhat rare, so that's also a downside. Now, while ender pearls are very unique, they aren't very practical to use on a regular basis, and they hurt you just to use them. Ender pearls are a faulty tier. Elytras. So elytras are the only travel method that you actually wear to use, and some people might not like that. So elytras were added back in 1.9 and are literally just wings. They could only be found in end cities, so that makes them not only extremely rare but also very risky to just obtain. But once you have an elytra, you'll be able to glide in the air at varying speeds depending on which way you're facing. And if you have firework rockets, you could even use those to give yourself a boost of speed. Elytras do have durability, so that could get pretty annoying, and it's also dangerous to fly these things because if you hit a wall, you could easily die depending on how fast you're going. But honestly, if you're a good pilot and you're willing to take the risk of obtaining and flying an elytra, then it could be really useful to get around. Elytras are a good tier. Now, minecarts. Good old minecarts. So minecarts are probably one of the first things you think of when someone says Minecraft transportation. But should it be the first thing you think of? Despite what you actually might think, minecarts are actually pretty slow, only being just as fast as a boat at full speed. It's definitely faster than sprinting, but is it really worth the hassle of putting rails down when sprinting is just a little bit slower? Now, I do admit that it is pretty cool that you don't have to actually do anything and the minecart will just take you to your destination. And yes, minecarts are good for a few things, but pretty bad for some others. If I had to make a suggestion, I think minecarts should just be a little bit faster, but I don't work for Mojang. Either way, minecarts are an average tier. Now, saddled pigs. So saddled pigs are honestly a meme. They're slow and hard to control, general, it's really just useless to ride one of these when there's so many better options. Saddled pigs are a bad tier. Now, feet, or legs, or whatever these things are what everyone uses to walk, sprint, and sneak. You get them as soon as you load into the world and they never break, although sometimes it sounds like they do. Now these things are great because without them you probably couldn't play the game, and for that I think these things are a best tier. Boats. So boats are what you expect them to be. A little wooden vehicle that could float and move in the water. Now boats are extremely easy to get, only requiring 5 wooden planks to make, which aside from walking is probably the easiest travel method to acquire. Boats can fit 2 players or a player and a mob, so it's a really good way to transport multiple people. Now really the only downsides to boats is that they only truly work on ice and water. I mean, yeah, you could technically ride them on land, but that's just too slow to even count. But to be fair, it is a boat. It's not really meant for land, but overall, boats are a good tier. Now, horses. So for horses, I'm also including similar mobs like donkeys and mules. So horses are naturally spawning mobs that you could typically find in the plains biome. And once you tame one, you could throw a saddle on it and instantly get to riding. You have full control of the horse, side, front, and back, so it's incredibly easy to control. And depending on the horse, the speed could be either pretty moderate or very fast. Horses could also jump, so that could really come in handy if you need to get over a fence or something like that. Now the only thing I find annoying about horses is that they have some sort of special ability to just disappear when you get off of them. But aside from that, horses are pretty great. Horses are a best tier. And you know, me and horses have something in common. They're forced to ride us places and I'm forced to make this video.